All right, I thought I would do a impromptu recording behind the scenes because there was a great conversation going on inside today's group, inside our Facebook group today with Chris. Thanks, Chris, for asking so many great questions regarding, how I get dream clients or what the process is and the dream life model and all that stuff. So, Chris, if you're watching, this is for you, and it's also for anybody else watching this to see exactly what I do behind the scenes. That I've been teaching this now for at least 6, 7 years on the strategy on how to get yourself out there, known as an expert, known as someone who your dream clients are going to want to listen to. Because the real secret here, if you want to call it that, or is that dream clients are watching you. The real dream clients who are going to reach out to you, who want to work with you, are watching you and they're reading you. And this is the downside of this marketing strategy, if you want to call it that. But since this is happening real time right now, I want you to see what I'm doing so then you can look at the process and adapt it to whatever you want to do for yourself. Now, here's what I'm talking about. Inside the group today, Chris asked a whole bunch of questions here, Q&A, and there was Q&A back and forth between us, especially this one here. You can see that there's 16 replies. If I open this, I'm going to link the actual I get the thread in the comments below so you can see these if you want to read through them. But I'm going to show you what I do normally in a thread like this. And almost every single thread I do this. So there's like 15 replies. And the first thing that I want to share with you is the mindset of investing in your clients, your future clients that you can't see. And so I always invest time every single day in answering as many questions as I can. So it's not the full day. I mean, spend maybe an hour or something every single day looking if there's a conversation that I can help out with. With this one, this was perfect today because this was in not only my group, but it's something that I could continuously go back and forth because it was a live conversation with Chris. And here's why I'm telling you this, because if you invest that time, and we're not selling anything, you're not pushing anything, you're not doing any of that other crappy content marketing stuff that people teach. I'm talking about delivering pure value. Now, a caveat here, just to let you know, because this is in my Facebook group, there may be a time where I will get to a point where I say, hey, why don't you just join Atlas? Why don't you just join this? Okay, so that has to be put up front. So it's not that I never would do this in my group, but more than likely, I don't do that. More than likely, I'm just answering the questions. In this case, I believe I didn't say anything about Atlas or joining or something like that, but I'm going to show you what I do. So let me go to the screen, okay, and show you that there is this this thread here. You can see here on the other side, I've got this this Notion open, and you don't have to use Notion, by the way. I am a big fan of Notion, but I just get somewhere where you can go to every day or to a place where you're going to capture the stuff that you're doing. And the reason I'm telling you this is because I've spent at least an hour having a conversation back and forth with Chris, and that I don't want to lose that momentum, first of all, and I don't want to lose what I've already said, right? So I'm going to repurpose it. I'm going to capture this, and I recommend you do the same thing with every single thing that you do. I'm going to show you my Notion in a second, but you can, again, you don't have to use Notion. Use Evernote, use a Google Doc, Word doc. It doesn't matter, just as long as you can go back and have the place where you can save this stuff. Here's why I'm saying this is because, like I said, this is really a really great conversation, and I don't want to lose it. So I'm going to go into Notion, and you might be able to see this here, but I'll zoom into Notion. Let me zoom in actually here. You can see here that I've got even buttons set up here because I do this so often. And in this case, I have an add new Facebook reply, which basically just does a couple things for me. It opens up a new reply thing. It tags where the location is, all these really cool things, right? But I don't want to get into a Notion thing here. I want to share with you what I'm doing. So I go back here and I'm going to actually just copy this. So I'm going to copy this and I'm going to come in here and I'm going to paste it. That's all I'm going to do, right? So this is the conversation that I'm having. And then the other thing that after I paste everything, I want to grab the source. But this here is the conversation, right? Oops. Go back here. So let me just grab the conversation and show you what I'm doing. And again, you don't have to do this in Notion. I'm going to grab pretty much everything that has been said here. Okay? So I'm going to grab all of this, copy that, and I'm going to paste it. Let me just open this up into big screen, so it'll be easier. So Chris says this, and I'm going to just grab all that. Oops. It's a little tricky. I know it's time consuming, right? This is like where somebody might be looking at this and who just wants to, like, just tell me how to get leads. Just tell me how to do this, right? They're going to look at this and say, this is way too much time you're taking. But like, that's the key. That's the reason why I'm able to have content all the time, which I'll show you in a second, and then always be in front of people, and people are seeing that I'm actually engaged. So and I'm able to speak their language because I'm copying and pasting exactly what my tribe is saying, and that is like super super important. So I'm going to grab all this. I'm going to get rid of this, like this. Okay, so this is Chris's. This is something that I do personally. So this one here, I'm going to change the color. Oops, I'm going to change the color. Again, more time consuming stuff, but in the future, I'm making, future Joey's life easier. So I know what I did and I know what I responded to. This one here, we're going to get rid of that. This is Chris. This is me. So I want to change that again to the blue so I know it's mine. Okay. And then go back again. About a year. Okay, about a year. And then this is this. Let me just grab all this. Copy all that. Put it in here. You know where I'm going with this. So I'm going to pause. I'm going to pause the video right now just so you don't have to watch me do all this. You know what I'm doing. And then when I'm finished, I'll restart the video and come back and show you. Okay, so now I've done finished copying all of this stuff over into Notion. You can see that it's here. And you can see here that, even Chris referenced a video here that is super important because of what I think that I've responded to back here, which is why I'm doing this. One of the reasons I'm doing this is because I want to capture my thought, because I'm doing this real time. This is not copy and paste stuff. Like, I'm just responding to exactly how this conversation is going. And I think that I know, I shouldn't say think, that it's one of the most important things that you need to understand or adopt, that you're going in and having real-time conversations. Even when you're doing a chat, or even if you're doing a sales by chat type of thing, you might have responder or message navigator prompts that I use that where it's just to get the conversation going, but I don't have cut and paste answers and stuff like that. It's all real-time live stuff. And again, this is a choice. This is why a lot of people don't do this. But the reason why it's so easy for dream clients to come to me is because I'm doing this and people are watching outside and they're reading this. Right now, I know that there is at least one person, one dream client, who's reading this conversation that I'm showing you, and they're just absorbing it. They may reach out today and say, hey, I want to join Atlas, or not. They may do it 18 months from now because they read another one, or throughout now to 18 months from now, they've been reading stuff all over the internet or watching a video that I'm doing or whatever, right? That's the strategy. It's that I'm focusing on invisible clients. And that kind of sucks if you are a person who, I need to know an ROI, I want to see something like happening right away. Well, this stuff is not going to work for you. And you're probably in the wrong place if you're in my tribe. But I'm sharing with you how dream clients reach out to me pre-sold. They come to me and I'm rated for Atlas or whatever. And if you just looked at that one interaction of when they actually reached out, did a DM, maybe it took them 2 days to sign up for Atlas or something, and you focused only on that little chunk of time, then it would be like, hey, look how I'm a hero. Look at this. I sold in 2 days, or I sold in an hour or something like that. But that's not the truth. So this is why I'm sharing this with you, is all of this stuff is happening behind the scenes. And right now there's somebody, or maybe a couple of someones, who are reading this thing. Okay. So that's number one. Now, I've put this into Notion over here. And like I said, you don't have to put it into Notion, but I put it in here because this is where all my stuff goes. And I'm going to do one of two things. I'm going to, copy this as the title of this, page or whatever, this title of this content. And then I'm going to I want their source. So I want to come back to here. And in this case, I got to close this up. It's this one here. So in this case, do I got a link for it? I don't think I have a link. So I don't have the link. So what we're going to do is I click on this little guy up here, and this opens up, and I copy that link right up here. Okay. And the reason I do this is because I want to be able to come back to this later on, and I put that right in here in the source. I want to be able to come back in case that this might, there might be more conversations in there. There might be, I just want to revisit it later on, see if anybody else, if this was in a public Facebook group, I want to see if what other people are saying to it, that kind of thing. So just a little tip. You don't have to do any of this. I just, I just go overboard. I want to know where everything is connected. And so I'm just trying to make my future Joey's life better. I've been doing this for the last 5 years or so, and this is a whole other avenue if you wanted me to explore or teach a little bit more about how the interconnected back-end systems work, because I love teaching that stuff too. But I had to catch up. Like, I was doing all of this stuff for years before 2019, and then I had someone have to go into all of the groups that I was, adding value, responding, and all that, and grab all of those things and put them into Notion, in my tool of choice. And that was just a project. So if you're doing this now, if you take an extra 5 minutes to do what I just did and start putting stuff in, you will have a library of information that you can now repurpose. Here's what I'm talking about. Let me go back to Notion, and down here, just this right here, let me just see. So right here is a really great thing. So I can highlight this and put a comment and say, use this for an idea for content, and that would be it. So I can highlight that, because I know that, like, this, what Chris asked here and how I responded can actually be a post, and I can rewrite the post. You can have a little bit of AI to help you rewrite the post. That kind of stuff is where the power of where we're going with AI and content creation comes from. So when I'm creating content, I'm looking at, here's my first thoughts going in, and then I might go and I save it where you just saw, and then I'll take that and maybe want to reframe it with AI, with ChatGPT or with Notion or whatever it is, and it helps me reframe the thought, and then I can rewrite it. So when I'm doing it, I'm using now AI to help me enhance what I've talked about, to give it another perspective. But I'm not asking ChatGPT or AI or anything to create content for me. That's the biggest mistake that I see a lot of people doing now, is they're thinking that AI is replacement, where I'm using AI to amplify or to help me reduce the cognitive load on, okay, how would I reframe this? Like, how would I do this? And maybe I'll even ask it to say, what do you see in this context that would be really relative to my audience? I'm getting ahead of myself, or another tangent here. That's my ADD kicking in, which is a superpower, by the way. So there you go. That is how I utilize not only content, like you saw it here. So there's two pieces of content, right? So there's this here, the conversation, or supporting my tribe, which is you, right? Supporting and going in and answering questions just off the top of my head and from my heart, and however I'm dealing with that. And then taking those responses, especially when it's a long one like this, and putting it into a captured area. For me, it is in Notion over here, where I can come back to this at any time and revisit, even if it was just, what are people having trouble with? And now I can put this here. As you can see here, this is a reply. I've notified, it's a category, it's a reply, and it's also an idea. So I can come back and I can search for, give me all of my replies and my ideas, and I can look through them, and I'm always I always have content for the future. Hopefully that answers a few questions on how do I get dream clients coming to me. This is the way, because I'm responding and I'm giving true answers. I'm not holding anything back. So dream clients are watching that, and then they'll come to me and say, hey, I'm interested in working with Atlas, or can you explain more about, that dream life model that you were talking to Chris about? So there's a reference point. Like, there's this bond already built. That's it. Like, that's pretty much what I do every single day. And if you have any questions about this, let me know below. I'm happy to answer this. Maybe I'll shoot another video for you, or whatever it is that will help you move forward in your business. So thanks a lot for watching. Thank you, Chris, by the way, again, for initiating this conversation and giving me the idea to shoot this video. I will speak to you soon.